Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Wishwell Farms. It's so nice to see everybody again. It feels like I've been gone forever. I just returned from a week-long RV trip with my wife. Feels good to be back, and I'm ready to get back to work and get some things wrapped up here at the end of October on the farm and start getting things ready for the 2025 season. This is our cauliflower and our broccoli. They have all been harvested. We are officially 100% done with harvesting everything on our farm and farmers market sales. Before I can bush hog this down, I'm gonna go out there and pick a few heads of broccoli, side shoots of broccoli that I saw, and throw them in my cooler. That way I can continue eating those for another week or two before all of our produce is completely gone. Well, we have a few winter squash up at the barn that I hold on to for a couple months throughout the winter. As you saw in the last video, if you watched that one, we did get some tillage done. I was able to get some chisel plowing done over here and over here. I wasn't able to get all of it done because I still have some plastic to lift. I have 3 rows of tomato plastic and 6 rows of bell pepper plastic that is conventional plastic that's not biodegradable, that we have to actually lift and dispose of before I can chisel plow that ground. This is biodegradable plastic here, so I don't have to lift it. But before I can get that drip tape out, I have to bush hog this down, and then I'm gonna take my plastic lifter with the center coulter on it and run it up and down all these rows to slice it in half so the drip tape comes out easier. Then we'll get the drip tape pulled, then I'll disc it and chisel plow it, and this field will be officially done for 2024. A majority of this old broccoli patch has kind of flowered out like this. And you know, even the ones that are still a little bit smaller, mostly all sprawled out. The beads are kind of big and getting brown. But you know, there's some nice little side shoots here and there. You know, you can see there's some junk, but these are decent. There's a nice one. There's some really nice side shoots. Wow, that's almost like a little main head of broccoli. Some really nice ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick a bunch of these right here, fill up this tub, and throw them in my cooler. Man, that is like one of the biggest side shoots I've ever seen. There's a couple nice ones. You know what? After picking that tub of side shoots over here in that 3rd row, I've decided I'm not going to bush hog it down. There's too many out there. And I actually found a handful of nice looking cauliflower that are coming on. So even though my sales season has ended, my farmers markets are done. There's no more farmers markets. The 2 good ones that I attend in Columbus, their last Saturday was 2 days ago. They do move indoors. I did not sign up for the indoor season, but it would not be worth my while to pay for a stand at the market, drive all the way to Columbus, set it up just to sell a handful of broccoli and cauliflower. So I'm going to leave them here and not bush hog them down. That way me and my family, extended family, can enjoy these all the way to Thanksgiving. You know, they will freeze at some point, but a frost or light freeze does not really hurt brassicas too much. Now a hard freeze that's half of the night, that will finish them off, especially the broccoli. Cauliflower can take a little bit more. So, you know, I've had it last all the way till almost Thanksgiving before. So we're gonna let this go and not bush hog it and enjoy it for a few more weeks. So for those of you who may have been interested in our garlic production, this is where Joel's garlic is going to be planted this week and next week. We just laid the 9 rows of plastic mulch for his 20,000 garlic bulbs, all planted by hand, all harvested by hand. So he would love to have this all done by the end of October, because that's about the right time to plant it. But usually he's busy harvesting soybeans and field corn. This year we're completely done already here at the end of October, so I know he's chomping at the bit to get started on this 1st of November. So that's going to keep him busy for the next week or so getting that planted. But I know some of you had questions in my past video about when he's going to plant his garlic. I thought he did it the 3rd or 4th week of October, but come to find out he does it the 1st week of November, and always has great success planting it on that week in November, 1st week of November. Yeah, it's a lot of work out there. All right, just finished lifting my first row. This was the eggplant row. It came up a little tough. It's so dry. Look at this massive chunks. I mean, there's a little bit of moisture left in the soil, but it was really dry back there, and actually it was bogging the tractor down a little bit. But it came up. That's all that matters. So this is the Challenger 1800, manufactured by Rainflow Irrigation, the same company that makes my mulch layer. But this is the mulch lifter. So when you look at a raised bed with the plastic mulch over it, even though this is 4-foot wide plastic, there's only about 30 inches showing on top. Then you got about 4 to 6 inches on the shoulder, and then you got another, looks like here only about 1 inch, but sometimes 3 to 5 inches of the shoulder is buried. It's supposed to be buried really well right there. Here's a better example over here. So this plastic has about a 3 or 4 inch shoulder, and then there's a buried edge all the way from the edge of the plastic to here. You can't just go and pull this plastic up. It's being held down by this dirt. So the way this plastic lifter works is these plowshares dig down under the raised bed and lift it up. And in the process, it throws the dirt off of both sides of the buried shoulder edge of the plastic. These 2 little disc blades kind of cut vines. They also remove a little bit of dirt off the buried edge, but not much. They're mainly for cutting vines so it doesn't get tangled up in the plastic as it comes through here, then it will tear. We don't want this plastic to tear because we want it in one continuous piece, whether you are manually gathering it up into a wagon or if you have a machine that winds it up. We do it by hand because we do so little. All of our plastic is biodegradable. 95% of it is biodegradable, so I don't have to pick it up. It just disappears in the field. It's eaten up by the soil microbes. But the peppers and the eggplant are put on conventional plastic, and my 3 rows of tomatoes. I think that's about it. I had a little bit of lettuce over here and onions. It's already been lifted. These are just depth gauge wheels, so it doesn't go down too deep. And everything's adjustable on there. It works pretty good. I leave these down pretty low. They can be raised up quite a bit up to here. It helps fluff the plastic up off of the dirt so it doesn't have any dirt holding it down at all. And it makes it the plastic a lot easier to be wound up by a machine or pulled into a wagon by hand. But I have found that if you have any weeds at all, or don't have something set right, the plastic wants to be drug along with the machine. It kind of sticks back here when you start the row and wants to be drug, or it can tear it. So I just leave those down low, and I've even seen some farms that don't even use them. They just take them off or cut them off. So I just started row 2, and you can see the buried edge is up out of the ground. And you know, if you don't have their pepper stalks bush hogged low, like these two right here, the plastic catches on it and makes it difficult to lift into the wagon, pull into the wagon. But a majority of the pepper stalks have been mowed within inches of the plastic. But here you can see what the machine looks like in action. Well, it's not in action, but in the middle of lifting a row. I just shut it down so you could hear me talk. And you can see those plowshares are down in under the plastic, and it's being lifted up. And the disc blades are sunk down in the dirt, cutting any vines or weeds that may be attached or growing out onto the plastic. I just sheared a bolt. This is only like the third time this has happened to me in over 20 years of using this machine. We hit something really hard back here. It must be a big rock buried down in there. And you can see, sheared this bolt right here. And when that happens, it makes the piece swing back so it doesn't cause any more damage. So we're gonna have to run up to the shop, find us a new bolt to replace that. All right, we're back in business. Got an extra one to take with me this time. Well, it's the next day, and it's time to tackle a job that I've been putting off for weeks and weeks, and that is cleaning out our grape greenhouse. We call this our grape greenhouse because we grow 5 rows of grape tomatoes, and you can see there's still a partial one sitting here that hasn't even been cut out and removed. The first 4 have already been drug out way back when the high school and college kids were still here working. And then the last row and a half are determinate field tomatoes that actually did really good for us this year. I'm glad I tried that. So we're probably going to do half grape tomatoes in here next year and half determinate field tomatoes. But today we just have a big mess to clean up. So I'm going to set this up on a time lapse and you can see us clean this disastrous mess out of here. So the way we're going to do this is we're cutting the stalks above each of these rock wool cubes. And then we'll pull the little dripper stake out. And then each one of these bags will be free and clear of the tomato plants to remove. We will cut the strings at each post and then just drag the strings and plants out the back of the greenhouse to be burned. And then a job that I'm not looking forward to is cleaning all these weeds out of here. We're gonna have to hand pull them out and drag them out the back as well. I'd say we made some good progress today. Feels good to have all of the plants and weeds out of here. Tomorrow we're going to finish up sweeping up all this debris on the ground. We'll push it into piles, throw it in a wheelbarrow and get it out of here. And then I'll bring my leaf blower out to do the fine tuning. And before I sweep up the junk, I'll zip tie these water lines up on these T-posts. So they're up off the ground, out of the way. Makes it a lot easier to sweep and blow all the debris out of here. And then this greenhouse will be done and winterized. Currently down here at our other farm where all of our grain bins are, and my green bean harvester. This is one job that I almost forgot about. I need to get this thing power washed. You can see it's a filthy mess. Still have some morning glory vines up in there. I'll get that all taken care of tomorrow. But right now, whoo, man, it's windy out. There's like 30-mile-an-hour winds today. Hope you can hear me. I'm gonna go do some bush hogging. I got a few waterways I didn't get done last week. Dad's been hounding me about that, so we're gonna go out and knock that out first. And I noticed Dad and Joel must have hired a professional power washing company to get the combine washed and the header washed. So it looks like they're going to town. That's looking pretty good too. I'm sure it's a massive undertaking power washing a combine. You know, we could do it with our power washers, but I'm sure they're gonna be able to do a much more thorough job than what we can do. And I bet she's gonna look almost brand new when they're done. We're just about done using the bush hog for the year, and it is packed full of debris and weeds. You know, I did see one that Larson's farm was using. It had a big fan up in the middle blowing down, so no debris could ever land or stay on the bush hog itself. I thought that was a pretty neat idea. So as soon as I finish bush hogging these waterways, we're gonna take this out in the field, get all that debris swept off and blown off, and I might even power wash that, and then we'll put it away for winter. Just trying to clean up these waterways a little bit. This one really wasn't that bad. A nice clean mowed waterway. All right, got all the bush hogging done. Time to clean this beast off. And there is a stiff breeze that should give me a little bit of help getting all that off of there. I think it's over 30 miles an hour, so I might need to change the direction of it just a little bit. It's headed from me to that grain bin. So I came back here to put the pin in the second wing, and it's bent. So when I first came down here to do it, this piece was underneath that. So the pitch, I must have hit it with the pitchfork and flipped it up into this position. Then when I closed the wings, it bent these two flanges down at the top, and the pin won't go through. So for right now, we're just going to use this bolt until I have a chance to bend that back. All right, the old bush hog is put away for winter. Next spring, we'll grease it, sharpen the blades, and it should be good to go for another season. Alrighty, folks, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see y'all again real soon down on the farm.